Hello again, everyone. This is Gilmer, and this is episode 8 of my Let's Play War in the West. I don't actually call it a Let's Play in the description on YouTube, but it basically is a Let's Play. And right now we're in the air planning phase, and a couple of quick notes. I've done most of my work offline, to be honest. It's not really that much of a deal or a big deal because all I really did was I transferred some planes to Sicily. As you can see, these airfields have all been, well, not that one. That one has nothing, but these airfields have all been filled up by what was originally here. And then these airfields, you can't really, it doesn't really show you, but if you look at the hex pop-up, it shows you that I have moved tactical bombers onto Malta and to the Victoria Air Force Base. And that's really all that I have done, except I did change a little bit of the recon to show a little bit more of this area here. And that's pretty much it. That's all I've done for the airplane phase. So you really haven't lost much, you haven't missed much. And all right, let's execute the air phase. Execute air directives. It looks like I'm still doing, I guess, naval patrols. That's fine. I have actually researched some things, and so I'm a little bit more knowledgeable about what's going on. I think I'm going to stop while this is going. I'm going to stop talking while it's a little loud. Actually, I don't know if you can see this, but I can turn that sound down a little, which I am going to do, I think. You probably can see me doing that, which I don't mind at all. So I've turned the sound down because that was very loud. And as you can see, it's giving me a little bit more information in this area, which is what I did with the air recon. And now I am setting up for my land turn or land combat turn. And some of the things that I have learned is that the reason this isn't working is because I have an armored division. And armored divisions, let's wait till that sound goes off. Armored divisions you can't use for an amphibious invasion. You can transport them with naval transports, which is what I did with, I believe, I don't know if the Free French Force actually has any armored, but I did transfer some armored over here, I do believe. Or I thought I did. Maybe I did not. That's weird. I thought I did. But anyway, you can move it by naval transport, but you cannot do an amphibious invasion with an armored division, which is what that is. Now, you can put armored brigades and armored regiments in an amphibious invasion, but just not armored divisions. And so really, what I want to do, I think, is I want to move that one, and let's see if we can't get one of these over here. Yeah. So we're going to get one of these over here, and then I'll have 2 infantry divisions ready to preparing to invade at 116-276, which is 116-276, so it's going to invade at Iglesias when it happens, which who knows when that's going to happen. And you probably can hear my stomach growling. I apologize for that. I come home from work and I go immediately into recording. It's just something I do. And here is another. I don't really like doing a headquarters either. So what we're going to do is we're going to move these two into that. And they're going to be part of my invasion of Sardinia. And I guess I need to move these up a little. At some point, they're going to be making the trip. And I can't move them by rail anymore. Do we have something that tells me what rail? How much rail? I don't know. I don't see anything. And then I have this, the 1st U.S. Armored Division. Let's see what we can do with them, if anything. Maybe I can do... Who is it attached to? The amphibian... The AFHQ. Oh, so that's the Armed Forces HQ. So it's attached directly to the Armed Forces HQ. Interesting. Is it in a port? It is not. Sorry. And let's see. Naval transport mode. Because I do want to have some naval transports. Sheesh. Oh, man. I don't know what the hell happened there, but we got hit by some people attacking some air superiority or naval patrol or whatever it was. That sucks. This airfield looks a little overcrowded. I learned a couple of things. 131. So what about this one? He's 200. Was there any others that I had that were on ships that I wanted to get off of ships? No, I think it was just this. Yeah. And then we're going to change that. I'll move him up. And we are going to... Let's capture Caltanissetta. Okay. Yeah, they're pulling back. I gotta get that strategic points up to, what was it, 131 to offload him. Another thing that I learned about amphibious units is if I'm not exactly sure which hexes I need to put it on, but if I basically surround Messina with amphibious task forces, it's basically a naval blockade. And the trick about this is you have to be more than one hex away from Messina. So if you're in these hexes, this port is, they're going to just beat the living hell out of your task forces. So you want to be 2 hexes away, and I'm thinking it might be these and maybe these. I'm not sure, but I don't think I think the zone of control, you control more than just the hex you're in with your task force. So you can pretty much starve Messina out, which is what we will do. And let's see. Shift U. No, that's not what I wanted. N for depot supply. Okay. Let's take a look at this port. Oh, another thing is he doesn't have a port. Pacino has, I guess it's just this temporary port. Another thing that you can do, temporary port, Gila. I'm going to keep calling that Gila. Damage 0. So another thing I've learned is that if you put a task force, let's say Catania, it's at 80%. If I put this, if I move this, and can I move? Yeah. And put it right outside of that hex or right next to it, that port repairs a lot more quickly. And I don't know the reasoning behind that, but that's what I've read. So I am going to do that. I'm going to actually move this guy over here to Catania and let him hopefully start repairing that port. So we'll check on that. So that's something interesting. And another thing I learned about Messina in this little pocket is that if you do not blockade it with your naval forces, or maybe interdiction or naval patrol or whatever, if you don't do something, you can't take Messina. It's impossible to. I mean you could, but it's going to be a pain in the ass to try to do it. So that is one thing that we need to look at to make sure that we are doing it the way we're supposed to be doing it. Oh, I moved both of those. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. I guess I do want to move both of these up. And of course it didn't happen. How crazy is that? We'll move them back up a little. So they're in range of this command unit. From what I remember from War in the East, that is, the first number is your command unit points you're using, and 10, the second number, is the capacity. So I could attach probably 2 or 3 more, possibly brigades or divisions, hopefully. Maybe not a division, but at least a couple more brigades. Something else, actually. We can start assigning support groups to these guys as well to make them stronger in combat. And I need to remember to do that because, as you can see, you really need to have one of the things, and if I show it to you, the engineer battalion. You really need to have engineer battalions to break through fortresses, because fortresses are a pain in the ass to stop, to get through, to do whatever, to destroy them. So I'm not real sure about what's going on with my rail damage, because I'm supposed to have what's up their priority? I need them to get some more supply, because that's the backbone of this attack. And this one probably needs it as well. We'll see what his supply priority is. His supply priority is 2 as well. Let's put him at 3, and then let's take a look at this one. This one is a 2. That's fine, because I think they've pulled completely out of this area over here. And as I was saying, I really need to assign some support units. Well, can't do it for him. How about him? Well, I guess, why don't I have supports? Assign support units. I need to, I want to assign 3 engineer. Construction. Okay. And then what I can do is, that's something else I really probably need to look into. I was thinking I might be able to detach that and let them start fixing my rail, because my rail sucks. Every place on here's rail damage of 100. I really need to get that worked out. He just went there. That's hilarious. There you go. I can only move one of those up. Yeah. See how it said scouted? That means the odds were so bad that all I did was basically just scout. I didn't do an attack. It just was scoping out the forces. Oh, he's still able to move. He has some assigned. What else can I assign to him? Artillery, auto weapons battalion. Is that some kind of machine gun support unit? Let's do it just to see. It says it's auto weapons. Okay, a 50 heavy machine gun, a quad AMG. What's that mean? 8. So there's 8 men with 8 carbines. Oh, and they got, that looks like anti-aircraft. Okay, light flak. Yep. So, yeah, good stuff. So that's another thing I need to make sure that I'm doing at any given time. Let's see. We got them set up. I thought I moved back 4. We got them set up. Let's look and see. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. So I moved 3 back, actually. So there's a second one. And then there's the third one. Okay. That's right. Because, where's Sardinia? I've got them attacking here, here, and here. So, that's why I was not building up preparation points. And as you can see, that was a pretty important thing, because I'm only getting 4 points every week or every turn. That sucks. I mean, it does. It sucks that it's only 4, because I need 50. So how many weeks is that? That's 13 weeks that it takes to build up before I can do it. And 50 is just the bare minimum. You could go all the way up to 70. So 13 weeks, that's 3 months. So that's August, September, October. And hell, I need to invade Italy at some point. Jeez. I'm supposed to invade them in 43 at some point. That's not good. Not good. Then I also have to figure out, because I got 3 over here as well, and I got to figure out where I'm going to go, which this is a pretty good area, to be honest. I've seen the AI invade in this area. There's a port here. You don't want to invade directly into a port though, because their defenses will just eat you alive. But you can come in here and then move into the port and come in here and pretty much cut off anybody down here. Move across to Brindisi, and you'll basically have the whole heel, and then you can start moving up. Now, of course, they'll start moving guys in this line, but it still seems like the best area. And then as you start branching out, you can kind of start moving across here, and it'll threaten anybody down in the toe of the boot, as they like to call it. So do I have any more movement points with these guys? Oh, I do with this one. Let's put him right there. Where's the headquarters for this one? Oh, there he is. Let's move him up. There we go. And of course this is overburdened for some reason. We'll look at that as well. So I'm going to press the M button to turn off the supply depot. N. That's the supply depots. We can look at these depots. Or can we? I think what you do is you look at it. I don't want to disband it. There's a way you can look at it, and I'm not sure exactly how. But I'll figure that out. I'll research that as well, because you can look at the information, how much of each supply it has. It has 4 bars. There was only 3, so it'll tell you all the detail you want to know about that but I just don't know where it is at this point. And if you watch these things and you're like, well, this guy doesn't know anything. I mean, I'm not talking about me, anybody in general. There's so much to learn that even on the forums they say you're going to play it 4 or 5 times before you figure out a lot of stuff. And I mean, just as I just learned about amphibious invasions and things like that, it just takes a little bit of research. But once you know everything, how to do pretty much everything, I'd say your enjoyment, to get full enjoyment, you have to know how to do about 80 to 85% of everything before you really start enjoying a game like this. And honestly, I'm probably at 55 to 60% at this point. So I'm still learning. There's still things to learn about, but I'm getting there. I mean, I know the basic commands on moving your forces, attacking, and things like that. That is annoying when you have somebody who doesn't know how to actually attack, because I've seen somebody who would be like 4-1, 3-1. I can't attack. Why can't I attack? How do I attack? Well, you don't have enough movement points. You have to have a certain amount of movement points to make a deliberate attack. You don't have to have as many to make a hasty attack, but I don't know the exact numbers, but it's all related to terrain and things like that. And I can honestly guarantee you, you're probably not going to be able to do any kind of attack if the movement points you have left in any of your units is 1. You can't do it. Now 4, both of these have 4. I could do, and I can actually move. I could probably move both of these, but I don't want to. But if you have 4, you can almost definitely probably do a hasty attack. Deliberate attack, it probably depends on what kind of terrain you're moving into. If it's rough, 4 might not do it. And that was even exactly the same as it was in War in the East as well. The movement points controlled everything in the sense of, can I attack? Can I move? Can I move into rough terrain? Can I move into a city terrain? Things like that. Can I move into swamp terrain? And that's been taken straight from War in the East and put in this game as well. So I do know most of that stuff. I have a fairly good sense of what's going on with supply. I need depots, and I do have depots. Is this a city? It doesn't say it is. So I could probably build a depot here. Now the rail thing is troubling to me because I think I wasn't very good on that in War in the East as well, and I really cannot afford to have too much area where the rail damage is all 100% and I've never repaired it. So that does worry me. And see, here's some more. That's straight from the AFHQ as well, so hopefully I'll be able to detach them, or they'll detach themselves, and what you'll see is it'll be just like this. It'll say whatever the name will be, and then it'll have movement points, and your movement points is, you can move here, and then it'll be a button that says RRQ or something, and what it means is you can, if you're sitting on a hex, as this pop-up shows, it's rail damage of 100. If you're sitting on a hex of rail damage 100, you'll click that RRQ and it will repair that hex. See, that's green. Actually, that's showing me that is green. Oh, this is my supply lines. As you can see, I have decent supply between these two. I'm having trouble there. Okay, see, rail damage here is 0. So as you can see, going through rail hexes with 0 damage, my supply line is green. But this is troubling. This is troubling, and everything else is troubling as well. This is green because rail damage in this is 0, and then pushing out supply from these depots, the more rail damage it has to go through, the less supply gets to your units. And so that's why you want to make sure that your rail hexes have 0 damage and 0 usage as well, or as little usage as possible. And if you're looking at the pop-up, you can see it says WA rail, and then it says usage 0 and damage 0. And what that means is that the more supply that goes through a hex, the more congestion you have on that hex. And so then there's a degrading of the amount of supply that can go through a hex the more you use it. Because what it's doing is it's modeling, let's say on any given day, the roads here, you can only move 200 trucks through that hex on a given day, without anybody getting in anybody's way and driving over each other and having traffic snarls and things like that. So then if you have 300 trucks going through that hex on one day, you're going to have traffic snarls, and that's what it's modeling when it's trying to when it says usage is 0. I mean, that hex hasn't had a lot of trucks going through it, but the more trucks that go through it, the usage goes up, and the less the chance that 100% of your supply is going through. I hope I've explained that pretty well, enough for people to understand it. Another thing, info points. So now I'm losing 2 points a turn as opposed to 4 or 5 or 6, and it's because I'm getting 3 points for bombing cities. I'm getting 1 point for city VPs owning a city, and that's probably Caltanessa. I don't know if that for sure. I don't know if I can turn that on or not, but it's probably Caltanessa, or it might be this city, or it might be this one. I don't know. So I am getting points for some cities. I'm getting a loss from losing units. Other lost VPs, I'm not really sure. I really want to turn off this U-boat VPs, and that's something I actually didn't look I didn't research, and that's the next thing I want to research. Optional city VPs. I think what this is just a total, and so if I capture Paris, this will be negative 798 instead of negative 1198, and then I might have I think I would have 400 points here, but not per turn, just per campaign. So Allied City points 10. I think it would add it over here at on some level. So I really need to get that to go down. It's actually going up. They're sitting at Axis major victory, but that's because it's early in the war, and I've only attacked Sicily so far. If the war were to end right now, I would lose a major decision, major victory to Axis. The Axis would have won a major victory, but the war is going to go on to 1945, and so I am definitely going to get more points, and that's a big one. I don't know how much points that is. Let me see. It'll tell me. Oh, Rome isn't even on here. That's weird. I would have thought Rome would be at least 100 points, but nope. So, anyway, I am going to call this episode to a close. Thank you very much for watching, and if you have any questions, you know where to post them, and if you want to click like, I will not mind that at all, and if you want to subscribe, if you haven't subscribed yet, you're welcome to do that as well. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.